everyone, welcome to Crafty and New. Today's video, I'm bringing to you 7 easy Halloween DIYs. So stay tuned. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my future uploads. And if you're not new, leave me a comment in the comment section down below and let me know how long you've been with me and my channel. Also, don't forget to comment, like, and share this video. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's get into our first project. So for project number 1, I'm bringing you the boudoir hanger. And all you need is just one of these hanging signs from the Dollar Tree. You can get them any time of the year. And now I'm going to use some white chalk paint, and we're just going to paint the back side of that white. And I'm also taking one of these ghosts that you can get every Halloween at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint that white. Now I'm going to take this Waverly chalk paint in Black Currant Oasis, and we're just going to dry brush over our project with this. I love this color for Halloween. Now once we have dry brushed over our sign, I'm going to take the Waverly chalk paint in Pumpkin, and I'm going to start out by painting the boo sign. Each letter on the boo is going to be a different color, so you'll be able to see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to paint the B in the pumpkin orange. And then I'm going to take the white and I'm going to paint the O. And then the next O, I'm using the currant color. I think it was Black Currant Oasis. It's got a purple to it. I really love this. And then the exclamation point in pumpkin orange and the dot in white. And I mean, I'm not going to explain every detail of this. Just watch the video and you can see how I paint. There's my sign, all painted and polka dotty. And then I'm going to take this Happy Halloween that I had in my stash. I ended up getting it off one of those tinsel trucks that Dollar Tree carries. And I'm just going to paint it in the pumpkin orange and the black currant. Once I have those painted, I'm just going to let that dry. And now I'm going to take some wood glue and some hot glue. And I'm going to glue my boo sign down onto the wooden sign that we purchased from the Dollar Tree, and we painted white and purple, which I assume by now you already know I purchased that from the Dollar Tree. Don't know why I said it. And then we're going to take the ghost and we are going to glue that down also. Then I'm going to put it right below the boo. You can see I ended up, because we started painting the ghost white, you can see that I ended up painting it orange because it just blended in with the sign. And then now we're going to glue down this Happy Halloween, and you can see it kind of pops off the board because it had 2 little pins in the back, which I just left. And that makes this project complete. For project number 2, we're just going to make a Happy Halloween pumpkin, and I'm just using one of these pumpkins, glittery pumpkins, I must add, from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint the back of it white. And of course I'm using Waverly chalk paint. Now, once I have the entire pumpkin painted white, I'm taking this Black Currant Oasis again, and I'm just going to paint some lines in the pumpkin to add a little more dimension to the pumpkin. Hey, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified. Next, I'm taking some black, yes, black paint, and I'm just going to paint the stem black. And then these are some window clings I got from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to lay some Mod Podge down on top of my pumpkin after the paint is completely dry. And we're just going to spread that around all over the pumpkin. And then once we have that on the pumpkin, I'm going to take the Happy Halloween window cling and we're going to place that on top of the pumpkin, smoothing out any wrinkles. I also want to remind you to follow me on all of my social media pages for more DIY tips and tricks, and plus it kind of lets you in a little more on my private life. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Crafty_Anew, and on Twitter at Crafty_Anew. Don't forget that underscore. Now, once I have this all Mod Podged in, I made me a little bow. You can see the ribbon I used. And I'm just going to attach that to the stem of my pumpkin, and that makes this project complete. So for project number 3, we're using this cat wooden cutout that you can get from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to fill in these holes with some spackling. And I'm going to use this moon yellow paint, and we're going to paint in the eyes of the pumpkin, the mouth of the pumpkin, and we're going to make the eyes of the cat a spooky moonlight yellow. You can see what I'm doing in the video. Just keep watching. After we have all the small details of the pumpkin and the cat finished, I'm going to take this, of course, pumpkin orange, and I'm going to paint the pumpkin orange. Makes sense, right? I'm just going to take this lime color and I'm going to finish painting the pumpkin. And then I'm going to take some brown, I think it was like the antique wax I used, and I'm just going to paint the stem of the pumpkin brown. And I'm going to use my black currant, and we're going to paint the entire cat in the black currant. And then I'm just going to dry brush some white paint over it to kind of bring out the eyes and stuff of the cat. And there you can see it's all finished. And I'm going to take some popsicle sticks. I'm using 4 of them, and I'm going to cut the rounded part off, and this is going to be my stand for the cat. Now this cat, you can customize any way you want to customize. You can use whatever colors you want to use. These are just the colors that I'm using this Halloween. I'm really digging the whole dark purple and the lime green. So again, this is something you'll have to customize to your liking. These are the colors that I enjoy. So I'm taking these popsicle sticks and I'm gluing 2 of them together. And then I'm going to take a bead of hot glue and put it at the bottom of the cat. And this will be my stand for my cat. And once you have the stand glued on, that makes this project complete. And now you have a spooky black cat. Project number 4, this is an easy, quick project. I'm used to using one of these ghosts. It came like this from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint white, and I'm going to paint it white. And I'm going to use the black currant to paint the stand. Again, sticking with my purple theme. And once I have that painted purple, then I'm just going to dry brush over the ghost with the pumpkin orange and the black currant. And yeah, so that'll be the painting part. Now once we're done painting, I'm taking these journaling cards that I got from the Dollar Tree. I actually showed these in a Dollar Tree haul. I'll put that link in the iCards above and in the description box below. And I'm going to cut out the ghostly greetings. And I'm just going to take some Mod Podge and put Mod Podge on the back, and we're going to glue it down on the ghost. And then we're going to cover the ghost with Mod Podge so that stays on there. And that makes this ghostly greeting project complete. Woo, Spideys! Project number 4, you're going to need a pizza pan. And once we remove all the sticky stuff off the pizza pan, we're going to take some Mod Podge and we're going to put a generous layer of Mod Podge over this pizza pan. And what this Mod Podge is going to do is it's going to help us lay down our Cricut printable that we're going to put on this without peeling up any paint. Plus it's going to help the paint stick better to this. Once we have our generous layer of Mod Podge on there, we're going to take some black paint. And this is Waverly Chalk Paint and Ink. And we're going to give it 2 really good coats. Once both coats of black paint have dried, I'm going to go in with the Mod Podge again and add another generous layer of Mod Podge over this black paint. Now what this layer of Mod Podge is for is so that I can lay down my Cricut printable on this and not peel the paint up. And I'm also going to scratch this up because I kind of want this to look worn, so I'm using my little finger sander. And I'm just sanding some of this down, and then I'm going to take a wet cloth to wipe out all that sand dust, and then we're going to lay down our Cricut printable. So now I'm going to take what I printed out, and it says no tricks, and I'm going to transfer that onto the pizza pan. And once I have that transferred on, I'm going to take my other printable that I made. Yes, I actually made these, and I'll put the font in the description box below. And I'm going to transfer that on, and this says just treats. So we have no tricks here, just treats. And then I'm going to take this cute little ghost I found in Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to transfer that onto my pizza pan in the middle. And then I'm going to take some ribbon and I'm going to make me a cute little messy bow. And, you know, I know this isn't the way most people make their bows, but I discovered this by accident. And I found that by alternating the sizes, that you get a cuter, messier bow. And so, anyway, there's no need for me to talk. I mean, you can see what the hell I'm doing. So, yeah, just keep watching. Once I have all my bow pieces cut, I'm going to just put them together by using some string, or you can use some jute twine. And I'm just going to fan these pieces out. And then I'm going to take another piece of ribbon, and I'm using the black and orange diamond ribbon. And I'm just going to place a small strip around to hide that string that we tied the bow together. And I'm just going to hot glue that down onto the pizza pan once we are done fluffing our bow. purchased these felt stickers from the Dollar Tree, and all I want is the ghost. I think it has like ghost, pumpkin, and something else in there. So I'm going to peel off the backing and put a dab of hot glue onto it, and I'm just going to put that in the middle of my messy bow. Once we have that done, I'm going to take some black and orange string and make me a little hanger so I can hang this on my door, and that makes this project complete. Like I said, at this house, we have no tricks, just super good sweet treats. So for project number 6, I'm using some of these wood blocks that you can purchase from Hobby Lobby, and they come in a plastic bag and they have like different sizes in them. So I picked out the 3 sizes that I like, and now I'm just kind of sanding down the rough edges because they do have some rough edges. And once I have that sanded down, I'm going to take some of my Waverly chalk paint ink, and I'm going to mix it in with some water to make me a little stain. And I'm going to stain all of these blocks with this black stain I made. Yes, I know my sponge is too big for the cup, but hey, I used what I had on hand. And now you can see I'm just going to go around all of the edges and the front and back of each block. Now once I have stained each block, I'm going to just take a paper towel and we're going to wipe off any excess water, paint, whatever, so that these blocks can dry faster. Now I'm going to take this tissue paper I also got from Hobby Lobby in the gift wrap section. It's kind of like a newspaper print, and I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put on each block, and we're going to attach this newspaper tissue paper onto each block. And while we're doing this, we're going to do this very carefully because we don't want any wrinkles, and we want it to go on nice and smooth without ripping the tissue paper. Once I have the tissue paper onto the wood block, I'm going to take my brayer and smooth out any wrinkles, and make sure this also helps to make sure that the paper gets a good contact with the wood piece. And I make sure I'm hitting all the edges so that the edges will stay down and this paper is nice and secure. Then once that Mod Podge is dry, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off all the excess paper, and then I'm going to take my finger sander and we're going to clean up these edges to make them look nice and neat. And you're going to do this to all 3 pieces. Now once we have all the edges cleaned up, I'm going to take another layer of Mod Podge and we're going to put it on top of the tissue paper so that I can make sure that the tissue paper has a nice surface for us to put our Cricut transfers onto, and it won't pull up the tissue paper. So my first transfer is the word trick. I actually made this in Cricut Design Space. This is my own design. You can make whatever you want to put on these. So I'm gonna lay down the word trick on the biggest wood block. So now I'm going to put the word or on the smallest block and the word treat on the longer block. And once we have that done, we're going to need to get out our orange pumpkin chalk paint. And what we're going to do with that is we are going to rough up the edges or rustic up the edges, whatever you want to call it, with our orange paint. And you can see here in the video what I am doing. Now, I must say that once I started doing this over the Mod Podge, I realized that the paint was showing up a bit darker than what I wanted it to. I didn't want it to be that bright and dark. So what I ended up doing is taking a wet paper towel and just rubbing off some of that paint and going over that wet stuff with more orange, and it finally gave me the color that I wanted. Just watch the video and you can see what I'm doing. And then once I have that done, I go over the entire block with my orange paint so that we can give it a little more dimension. And then I'm gonna hot glue the or onto the trick or treat. I'm gonna glue this together. Now you don't have to, but I decided I wanted to glue it together because I noticed once I put the word or on there, the blocks didn't want to stand up on their own. So what I ended up doing is gluing all the blocks together, and I took out these wooden beads, and I'm gonna make me a tilted stand for this. So what I did is I attached 5 wooden beads to the back of this, and then I took a paint stir stick and I glued that on top of the wooden beads, and that makes me a tilted stand. It makes the sign look like it tilts back, which I ended up loving. I'm so glad that I did this. So here it is, trick or treat. So for project number 7, we're just making over a Dollar Tree sign. And I'm taking this one that I got. It just had a moon. It said Happy Halloween. Sanded off all the glitter, painted the moon white, and now I'm going back over it with some black. And I'm just going to make this look like a moon. I mean, there's no technique to this. This is just something that you're going to have to do to your liking. And yes, I'm an idiot. I did not detach any of these pieces before I started painting them. This was a very bad brain fog day that I was having. I don't know if you guys have those days, but this was a bad one. And I just wasn't thinking, so I ended up thinking to myself, wow, it might be easier to paint these if I cut them. So I cut them after I had 2 pieces painted. But anyway, I went over them in white and black and got the moon to my liking. Once both coats of paint have dried, I used these metal letters that I purchased last year from the Dollar Tree. It had the words spooky, haunted, and beware in them. So I'm using the words beware, haunted, and I put the beware on the white, and I'm putting the haunted on the black. And once I have those glued down, then I'm gonna dry brush over the black with my white chalk paint, and I'm gonna dry brush over the white with my black chalk paint. So that's dry. I'm going to take these back clips and I'm going to take the clip part off and I'm going to hot glue those onto my sign. So I'm going to put 2 of them on my moon and I'm going to put 1 of them on the beware. And once I have that done, I'm going to put some ribbon on the back to attach all this together, and that will make this spooky Beware Haunted Moonlight sign complete. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have new subscribers. You guys keep me going. You guys keep me wanting to do this. And I love all of you. And click on the other videos that are popping up on the screen. And yeah, I think I'll quit my jibber jabbering. I hope everybody has a safe and haunted Halloween. See you next time. Bye.